is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
Seems like just one more thing that China is doing to kind of undermine the United States. I mean, they've been full court press against the U.S. in every arena, from economic espionage to corporate espionage to social espionage to military espionage to agricultural espionage. I mean, they're just in every way attacking the United States. And of course, we did see a lot of Chinese coming in illegally to the United States.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, that's every bit as dangerous as finding an Iranian or North Korean or somebody coming into the U.S. And we still see that. We still see a lot of those. Man, it's so vital today that we have a strong and united border protection system in place. And ICE is the cornerstone of that. Why is it that there are politicians out there that keep calling for the abolition of ICE? That just does. I mean, I think everything that you've set up to this point gives the lie to what they're saying. We don't have to. No, we don't. I don't have to ask you, why do we need ICE? Because you just described it. But my question is, why are these politicians using ICE as a political football and saying that we need to get rid of it? What's in it for them?
You've heard the rhetoric for the last several years: abolish ICE. They hate the police to begin with. And so ICE is just one of those agencies that they hate because of the immigration. And it'll take me, I'll lead into this with that, because I think not only just at the border, because they're open border policy politicians, we're seeing it with this administration. And so because ICE protects those borders, they're against ICE, but also at your local city and these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, where they refuse to cooperate with ICE because they hate it, because either they hated Trump or for whatever reason. Sometimes I feel they do it sometimes out of spite and release these criminals into the streets, knowing that they had an ICE detainer. All they had to do was notify ICE to come and pick them up and deport them, but they don't. And they let this sex offender, this violent criminal, back on the streets of our neighborhoods all over the country to reoffend again. And you guess what? They do reoffend again, and they will kill a U.S. citizen, and they should have been deported from this country. And so
the family of Kate Steinle.
That's right. And we could name them, the angel moms and angel dads of our country. I'm heading down to the border in McAllen next week. I'll be down there on a press conference and talk about it and meet some of the colleagues and see what the heck is going on. I want to see for myself the crisis that's going down there. But I'm going to be meeting with some angel moms and angel dads about that, because these are U.S. citizens that were killed by illegal aliens, either to drunk driving or just violent offenses. Mm-hmm. And I think those crimes should be 100%, they are 100% preventable. But it almost seems like this administration or the Democrats and the far left don't acknowledge that we have these problems in our own country, because they say, well, we need to attack the root problem of the issues in Guatemala and Honduras and Ecuador and all the way down, right? And I'm like, listen, first of all, it's horrific, the conditions that these people live in, and they're high crimes, no jobs, no education. We all understand that. We're humanitarians. But why is a burden being placed on the United States to take care of the rest of the world? We have criminals in our society. We have enough of a crime to deal with in our own, that we don't need to be bringing in more of these individuals, because these individuals have seen how broken their country is. And a lot of them, unfortunately, don't want to assimilate to the U.S. They want to come in here, but they want to come in here and continue to wave their flag from their home country. And it doesn't work that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And that's a big struggle with the assimilation. They want to be able to continue, because in their country, there's lawlessness. There's no accountability for your actions. And all of a sudden they think they could do that same thing in the U.S.
Well, and it's going to, I've walked with these migrants in the caravans, and I've talked to them about that. And, they're waving a big Honduran flag, and I'm saying, do you realize how that looks to Americans? It looks like an invasion. Right. And they're like, well, we don't have any American flags, so we're just waving our flag. Like they didn't think about that, right? And maybe that goes to the education issue. But the thing that is getting me about, especially the extracontinental issue, like you say, we can't take everyone on the planet. We just can't. And if we're going to address these problems, we don't have to address them in America. We can address them there. We could, for much less money, we could set up job training centers in Guatemala and Honduras if we wanted to. But the bottom line is that if you're fleeing persecution in one of those countries, you have to cross many other countries to get to our country. So you're not going to be persecuted. You won't be persecuted if you're in San Pedro Sula and you're in a bad neighborhood, you can go to a better place inside Honduras. All of Honduras is not controlled by the Maras, right? If you want, you could go right across the border into Esquipulas, and it's like Disneyland. They have 1 million tourists a year come through there. Yeah, I've been there. I'd take my family there on vacation. It'd be great, no problem. So they give the lie to this idea that they're being persecuted by crossing a whole bunch of places where they're not persecuted in order to come to the United States.
And that's the word that I'm going to be saying that next week in McAllen. We know, the US government knows that the majority, if not almost all of these individuals, do not qualify under our asylum criteria laws. They don't. The criteria is very simple. I almost have them memorized. You have to be persecuted by your government because of your race, religion, or political affiliation to an organization. And that's just not the case. You talk to these migrants and they've gone through all these terrible things. And then you ask them, why do you want to come? Well, they killed my brother. They killed my dad. All this violence. And as bad as that is, and we understand that, it still doesn't make you qualified to come into our country. Right. But this administration is ignoring and interpreting the asylum laws really completely different. That's why it was working before, where you want to seek asylum from your country, so we could have that opportunity to investigate while you're there. We're going to find out that more than likely you're not going to qualify, and we're not going to allow you entry. But now it's completely the opposite. Come on in first, and then we'll get with you later in about 2 or 3 years, whenever that backlog gets to you. And here's the other problem right now. We'll never see them again. And right now, they're not even giving them some of these. I talked to some of my colleagues. They're not even giving them an NTA, which is a notice to appear, which is there's a 213. They take the information, and here's your notice to appear. That's the official document, right? You're paroled in.
Right.
None. Some are coming in without not even that, Chuck.
Yeah, and so they don't have a reason to ever come back.
Why? You know what they're telling them? This is what they're telling them. The officials on the border are saying, whenever you get to Atlanta or Indiana or whatever town you're going to, go to your nearest ICE office and check in. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Right. And so it's just total lawlessness and no control. And 100,000 last month, 200,000 possibly this month. Maybe if this continues, over 1 million by the end of the year. That's not the way. That's not the way of the United States.
The most frustrating thing to me is that over the last year, before this new president was inaugurated, we proved that you could do it. We had very, very few people coming across that border because we worked with our southern neighbors. Because they did it more because of COVID than anything, but they did it. They sealed their borders. They stopped the flow. Panama was not letting people leave Panama. They just said, you come walking in through the Darien, you're going to stay here until this thing is over, like a year. And they're not in fun places down there in the Darien, I promise you that. Colombia just simply was not letting them get on the boat to go across the Caparana. That stopped it. That stopped these extracontinentals. So we can do it. We've proven it. But
yeah, and especially the Biden, the Trump administration did a great job of communicating that with the president of Mexico, the presidents of Central America, and they made that deal. And I love the fact that President Trump had said, listen, either you're going to stop them down there or there's going to be consequences. We're going to stop some funneling of some money going down to you. We're going to increase some tariffs on this trade, which Mexico immediately responded and said, wait a minute, we'll help you. Now, albeit they have done absolutely nothing when it comes to the cartels and the violence, I'll say that up front. But when it came to immigration, they kind of did step up and say, wait a minute, and they stopped the flow. You know, we got the president of Mexico right now saying that Biden is the one that's, bringing all these people through his own country. And so
True.
we still need to communicate with them, whether we want to or not. Mexico is our neighbor, Central America. There has to be a some kind of agreement there to say, listen, we cannot wait till these people come and touch our border, because by that time it's too late.
Well, thank you so much, Victor, for coming on with us. Your perspective is just so necessary right now, and I'm very glad to get a chance to talk to you about it. It's a real honor to meet you.
Thank you so much.
I remember when that shooting happened back in 2011, reading about it, and it actually spawned a trip that I took to Mazatlan to report on the violence down there in Mexico. And I was looking up the script from that story, and it mentioned your name back in 2011. So it's an honor to get to meet you, and I appreciate this book. It's an important book. Tell people just a little bit more about your book and how they can get it, where they can pick it up.
Yeah, Agent Under Fire. If you want to go through my website, you go to agentunderfirebook.com, or you go straight to Amazon or barnesandnoble.com and get your copy through there. You can follow me on Instagram at Victor Avila Jr. I try to post as much as information and really make people aware of what's happening and the impact it could come to your community, to your neighborhood, which is what's going to happen with this influx of illegal activity at our border.
Without a doubt, and it's very costly to the American taxpayer. I mean, look
Very
at
true.
the facilities that they're putting up. Obviously, that's costing money, and a lot of it. And not only that, but they're getting to the point where they're spending $90 million putting people in hotels. They won't put me up in a hotel. It's my time.
So upsetting, Chuck, when that came out. That hurt me personally, because I went through something with the government when we went through the trial in 2017. They wouldn't pay for my family and me to go for a 2-week trial to attend, the attempted murder of myself and the murder of Agent Zapata. We were there, and I fought with them. I didn't have all the money to put my family up for 2 weeks, but they sent $87 million to house illegal aliens, and it hurts, man. It stings when you served your country. But anyway, that's what's happening. It's kind of upside down and backroads right now. It's crazy.
It is. Well, thank you for putting your life on the line for our country. We are very grateful for your service to our great country, and I pray that we have calmer heads that will prevail in Washington and not just throw this thing to the winds.
Absolutely.
Folks, I definitely encourage you to pick up this book and go read it, because this is ammunition you need so that you can call you can vote correctly, and you can call your elected Congress critters and put some pressure on them to do something about this crisis. So thanks again. And we'll see you next time on The Hot Zone.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media.
Copyright 2021.